The female doctor accidentally discovered during the operation that the patient lying on the operating table was her husband who had disappeared 4 years after getting the marriage certificate. The female doctor originally planned to wait for her husband to wake up and have a good emotional exchange, but she didn't expect that her husband didn't recognize her. When she was about to tell her husband her identity, a young woman came to the man's bed with her child in a hurry, and the little boy actually called him Dad. The woman was shocked to hear this name. She immediately thought that her husband had an extramarital affair in the past 4 years. This immediately made the woman who had been waiting for him for 4 years angry and turned around and left. When she returned to the office, she picked up the phone and called her lawyer, asking the lawyer to help her draft a divorce agreement to divorce her husband, and asked the scumbag husband to compensate her for 5 million emotional losses. But the woman didn't know that she had misunderstood her husband. The mother and child were not the man's wife and child, but the widow and posthumous child that the comrade-in-arms asked the man to take care of before his death. Soon the man learned about the divorce agreement sent by his wife's lawyer, but the man thought his wife filed for divorce because she resented him for not coming home for 4 years. But now he has completed his mission and is back. So he decided to go home to talk to his wife and make it up to her. In order to get his wife's forgiveness, he deliberately put on an expensive suit and watch, dressed up handsomely, and drove a luxury car to his wife's door. Then he called his wife, told the woman that he was her husband, and asked her why she wanted a divorce. The wife, who was in misunderstanding, said that there was no need for a marriage that existed in name only. After hearing the man tell his wife that marriage was a matter between two families, he hoped that the woman could meet with him to have a good talk. But the woman, who was angry at the time, hung up the phone directly. She didn't want to have anything to do with her scumbag husband. The man who had failed his wife for 4 years knew that he was in the wrong and was not angry. He knocked on his wife's door with flowers in his hand and was ready to go. He was ready to coax his wife. But when the door opened, the man was stunned, because it was a young and handsome guy who opened the door. The other party angrily asked the man why he knocked on his door at night. The man was shocked and asked who the guy was. But the guy ignored the man and told him to leave with the flowers and not to harass his wife while he was away. Otherwise, he would kill him. But in fact, the guy was the woman's younger brother. Because the woman lived alone, there were always hooligans harassing her. So she asked her brother to live in her house. And this time the guy mistakenly thought the man was a hooligan. So he deliberately said so to drive the man away. However, the man who didn't know was very angry. He thought his wife had an extramarital affair during his 4 years away. He was angry and immediately returned to the hospital. Then he called the woman and said that he agreed to divorce, but he would not give her a penny of the 5 million. The woman immediately accused the man of being shameless, but he said that the woman herself was not innocent. He told the woman to find some free time to get a divorce. The woman was furious. She thought that it was her husband who was having an affair. He was so confident that he was a scumbag. At this time, the man happened to take the elevator down. When the two looked at each other, the president actually found that he seemed to like this beautiful doctor. He immediately went up to her and showed his affection.